What's the most disturbing thing you found while sorting through a deceased relative's belongings? When I was at university back in the mid-1980s, I was dating this beautiful blonde woman named Carla. She was attractive, smart, athletic, and I believe that at that time we were very much in love. We dated for almost 2 years, and got engaged. I spent many weekends at her family's home in an upscale city just outside of St. Louis. Halfway through our senior year, we had gone to her house for Christmas. They really outdid themselves on the Christmas decorations, and I was happy to be spending the holiday there. My parents had gone to Aruba, and her parents always treated me like visiting royalty. I always enjoyed my visits there. 2 days before the holiday it had begun snowing heavily, and Carla's father, a doctor, was on his way home through the worsening snow. Somewhere on the interstate, just before his exit, he was killed in a horrific accident. I truly liked the man, and I was probably as distraught as Carla and her family. I stayed for a day, and then, wanting to give them some privacy to grieve, drove back to my parents' house, and spent Christmas with a couple of cousins and my aunt and uncle. Carla and I spoke almost non-stop over the break, and I went back for the funeral. It was a very dark time. Around the beginning of spring break, her mother asked if Carla and I could go through her father's belongings, and begin packing them up. She had planned to sell the house as, without his income, she couldn't afford to keep it. She also couldn't bring herself to enter his study. They had been married for over 30 years, and I understood that feeling. His office was neat and well ordered, and for the first days, we sorted among the papers and books, putting the important papers where they could be easily found and boxing up the lesser documents. Oddly, I noticed that, although he had pictures of his wife and 2 daughters, there were no pictures of him as a younger man, or of his parents. Unusual, but not remarkable. In the back of the closet was an old Mosler safe. One of the kinds you see in the movies with the ornate decorations on the front. An antique, but still, in excellent shape and functional. We stood looking at it for a few minutes, and I had no idea how to open it. Carla walked over to his desk and removed a piece of paper that had been taped to the bottom of one drawer. She told me that her father had told her never to open the safe, and only use the combination in the event of an emergency. It took us several tries to open the safe, but we finally succeeded. What was inside completely shocked both of us. Folded neatly inside, on top of a shelf, was a uniform. The tunic, cover, slacks, medals and insignia looked like they had been kept clean and maintained. It looked like it had been freshly dry cleaned and was ready to wear. Under the shelf were several drawers, and in each one were his badges, identity cards, daggers, commissions, a promotion, and letters from superior officers. There was also a significant quantity of South African gold coins which he had obviously put aside for an emergency. With the exception of the gold, we put all of the contents of the safe into a footlocker, and she locked it up with a padlock. I don't believe she ever told her mother or sister about what we found except for the coins. She also swore me to secrecy. I know it shouldn't have, but it gradually soured our relationship. She knew that I possessed terrible information about her family, and felt that I would always harbor ill feelings toward her for what her father was. Our relationship slowly fell apart, and less than 6 months later, she gave me back the ring and we never spoke again. We both graduated, received our degrees, and went our separate ways. With the advent of the internet, I learned, a few years ago, that her father had been on the wanted list of German war criminals hiding in the US at this point. He had been dead for over 30 years and I could not see any reason to disturb his family with reporting this. The man who would have been my father-in-law had been an SS doctor.